Shame is the heaviest prison in the world, and the cruel thing is, the door is always open. They can't look you in the eye anymore, my friends. Not because you're going to shout at them, not because you're planning revenge, but because when they see you, they see themselves, and they don't like what's staring back. One glance at you is enough to crack the mask they've been holding together with shaky hands. It's not fear of you, it's fear of the truth. The kind of truth that doesn't need to raise its voice to be heard. Before we go deeper into this, I want you to press that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what I'm about to share will change how you see their silence forever. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll understand that their avoidance is not your rejection, it's their confession. So stay with me. Hey folks, imagine you're holding a mirror. Not a regular mirror you hang in a hallway, but one made of pure truth. You don't even have to lift it high, you just stand there, and the moment they see it, they flinch. They look away, they pretend to tie their shoes or check their phone. They'll even walk out of the room rather than face what's inside that reflection. That's you. You've become the mirror they can't smash, the one that follows them around, even when they try to change the scenery. It's funny, isn't it? We're told our whole lives that time heals all wounds, but nobody talks about how time exposes them too. Because shame, unlike guilt, doesn't fade away like a bruise. Shame grows teeth, and every time they see you, it bites down harder. The great Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." They broke that rule, my friends, and now they can't stand in front of the person who reminds them of the moment they did. Here's the lie they want you to believe, that their silence means they've moved on, that they don't think about it anymore, that they're living their best life without you. But the truth, people who are truly at peace have nothing to hide from. They can shake your hand, look you in the eye, even have a laugh with you. Avoidance isn't peace. It's proof. Proof they're still running. Proof they still feel the weight. Proof they can't control the story when you're in the room. Picture this. You walk into a coffee shop. You're in a good mood, humming along, maybe even treating yourself to that extra pastry you know you shouldn't have, and there they are, sitting in the corner. The moment they see you, their face changes. They fumble with their cup, suddenly remember they have somewhere else to be, and they're gone. You didn't say a single word. But trust me, you said everything. That's the beautiful thing about being unshaken, my friends. You don't have to argue. You don't have to explain. You don't have to play detective and force them to admit what they did. Your presence does all the heavy lifting. You are living proof that you survived what they hoped would break you, and every time they see you breathing, smiling, living, they're reminded that they failed to write your ending. So don't fall for the myth that you need revenge to win. You've already won. You're here. You're growing. You're becoming the version of yourself that doesn't need to chase closure because you gave it to yourself. And the sweetest part, you can do it all without lifting a single finger against them. Write this in the comments, my friends. I rise without revenge. Let the world see it. Let you see it. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me, because what's coming next will open your eyes even wider. Number 1, why they avoid you. It's not fear of you, it's fear of themselves. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and some windows stay shut because the view inside is too ugly to face. They avoid you not because you are dangerous, but because you are a walking reminder of a chapter they wish they could rip out of their own story. And here's the part they'll never tell you, my friends. When they see you, they're not really seeing you. They're seeing themselves in that moment they mistreated you, lied to you, underestimated you. They're seeing the version of themselves that failed. And failure is one thing people can handle in private. But when it's standing across the room smiling without a scratch they can point to, it's unbearable. Imagine you're holding a torch in the middle of a pitch-black room. You're not waving it in anyone's face. You're just standing there, letting it burn. The light reaches every corner, and anyone in the room has a choice: step into it or turn their back. But when they've got stains they can't scrub out, the light isn't comforting. It's blinding. That's why they keep turning away. They're not running from you. They're running from the light you carry, because it exposes the shadows they've been decorating for years. They'll ask themselves silent questions the moment you appear. What if they can tell I'm still guilty? What if they're looking at me knowing everything I tried to hide? What if they can see I haven't grown at all? The irony is, you're not even thinking about them most of the time. You're living your life. But their fear paints you as this human truth detector that will rip the mask off without saying a word. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." They didn't choose to be one in the moment it counted, and now they can't stand in the presence of someone who kept their integrity intact. It's easier for them to scroll through a phone screen, pretend to be busy, or find an excuse to leave early than to face the living proof that integrity survives betrayal. Let's break a lie, they tell themselves, and maybe you've believed it too. They want you to think their distance means they're indifferent, that they've outgrown the situation, moved on, left it all behind. But if you could peek inside their mind in that moment, you'd see it's not indifference, it's a storm. Avoidance isn't peace. Peace can look you in the eye without a flinch. Peace doesn't need to duck out the side door before you notice. Avoidance is proof. Proof that the wound isn't healed. Proof that the conscience isn't quiet. Proof that every time they see you, they feel that little jolt in their stomach that says, "You still haven't dealt with this." Why is it so difficult for them? Because shame, unlike guilt, digs its claws into identity. Guilt says, "I did something wrong." Shame says, "There is something wrong with me." And when they see you, they don't just see the action they took. They see what it says about their character. That's a mirror most people don't have the courage to stand in front of. So they run, hoping that if they keep moving, they'll never have to look. But here's the truth, my friends. Mirrors travel light. They don't need a frame or a wall to hang on. You've become that mirror, and no matter where they go, the reflection follows. It's tempting to take it personally, to think, why can't they face me? Was I too much? Too hard to handle? Too intimidating now? But here's the thing. If someone acted with integrity, they wouldn't need to avoid you. They could greet you with the same calm you're capable of. They wouldn't be scared of eye contact, wouldn't have to shuffle papers or pull out a phone like it's a shield. The avoidance isn't about you being intimidating. It's about them being unable to reconcile the person they pretend to be with the person they were when they hurt you. Picture this. You're at a friend's birthday party, laughing, enjoying yourself. Across the room, they see you. In an instant, their body language changes, shoulders tense, eyes dart. They whisper something to the person next to them and disappear toward the door. Everyone else keeps talking, but for them, it was an earthquake. The ground under their feet cracked, and standing anywhere near you feels unsafe, because in your presence, the truth starts to leak through the cracks. You don't have to chase them, my friends. You don't have to corner them into talking. You don't have to post cryptic quotes or make hints online hoping they'll see. The most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Keep living in a way that proves you are unshaken. Keep showing up in your own life with calm, dignity, and self-respect. Because your steady presence does more to dismantle their lies than any confrontation ever could. They might convince themselves that avoiding you is protecting their peace, but deep down, they know the truth. It's not protection, it's a cage. And every time they choose to walk out of a room instead of facing you, the bars of that cage get thicker. They're not keeping you out, they're keeping themselves locked in. It's important you remember this. Their silence, their distance, their avoidance. It's not proof you've lost value. It's proof you've gained strength they can't handle. You've become the person they secretly wish they could be, someone who took the hit, healed, and rose without becoming bitter or small. And that's what burns the most. Not that you're happy without them, but that you became stronger because of what happened. So the next time you see them turn away, let it remind you of this truth. It's not about fear of you. It's about fear of facing themselves. Fear of seeing the truth in your eyes. Fear of realizing that while you've been building, they've been hiding. And no matter how far they run, they'll always carry the weight of that with them. Write this in the comments so it's etched into your own mind. I am the mirror they can't face. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you that your power doesn't come from revenge, but from the quiet strength of someone who survived and rose. And stay with me, because what's coming next will open the door even wider on why shame is the punishment they'll never escape. Number 2, the mirror effect. When a man looks in the mirror, he sees not the reflection of the world, but the reflection of his soul, and some souls can't bear their own gaze. My friends, this is the part that stings the most for them. You've become a mirror they can't smash. It doesn't matter if you speak, smile, or stand in silence. You are living, breathing evidence of something they've been desperate to outrun, the truth about who they were when it mattered most. You're not chasing them, you're not confronting them, but the second they see you, it's as if someone has dragged an unflattering photograph out of the drawer and pinned it to the wall for all to see. Imagine walking into a bright, spotless room after spending hours in a filthy alleyway. You've been telling yourself you look fine, that nobody can tell, but the second you catch your reflection in a spotless mirror, you see the dirt smudged across your skin. You see the grime under your fingernails. That's what happens in their mind when they see you. They've been living with a story that makes them feel clean. And then there you are, and the story falls apart. Here's the thing about mirrors, folks. They don't lie. They don't soften the lines. They don't crop out the parts you'd rather forget. They show what's there in real time. And that's why your presence, no matter how calm, feels to them like a brutal interrogation. They can run from conversations, they can block numbers, they can avoid mutual friends, but they can't change what appears in the mirror the moment they catch sight of you. They know exactly what you represent. You are not just a person from their past, you are a timestamp. You are the date and time of the betrayal, the coordinates of the moment they failed the test of character. And worse, you're the living proof that you made it out, that you healed, that you kept walking forward while they've been trying to glue together a shattered self-image. Now you might be wondering, why do they react so strongly if I'm not even accusing them? Because, my friends, the mirror effect doesn't need words. It works in silence. You're not raising your voice. You're not confronting them in public. You're not posting long rants online. But the way you carry yourself now is louder than any speech. Your stability, your dignity, your refusal to crumble under what they did is the thing they cannot face. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The mirror effect is the living embodiment of that principle. They expected you to mirror their worst, to sink into pettiness, to lash out, to become bitter. Instead, you mirrored something else entirely: strength, composure, and growth. And now, every time they see you, they're forced to measure themselves against that image, and the comparison is crushing. Think about this. If someone treats you with integrity, the mirror effect is harmless. They can stand next to you without discomfort because the reflection is clean. But when they've wronged you, when they've acted in a way that violates their own values, the reflection isn't just a picture, it's an X-ray. It shows what's underneath: the selfishness, the dishonesty, the cowardice. and it strips away the pretty packaging they've been showing the world. Picture a social gathering. You're laughing with friends, not even thinking about them. Across the room, they notice you. For a brief moment, they freeze, eyes narrowing just slightly, mouth tightening, and then they look away. They turn towards someone else, pretending to be engaged in a conversation they weren't having 2 seconds ago. To you, it's just another moment. To them, it's a collision. That split second of eye contact was enough to bring back the whole memory reel in their mind. Here's the lie they hold on to. If I avoid them, the mirror disappears. But you and I both know it doesn't. They might be able to physically walk away from you, but the image you represent, the truth you carry, follows them into every quiet moment. It's there when they're lying in bed, when they hear a song from that time, when a friend mentions your name. They can't smash the mirror without smashing their own conscience, and that's a job they've been avoiding for years. Why is it so powerful? Because it's not your version of the story against theirs. It's not your opinion versus their opinion. The mirror effect is their own self-judgment reflected back at them. That's why they can't argue with it. If you confronted them with words, they could dismiss you, twist your meaning, accuse you of exaggerating. But a reflection has no agenda. It just shows what is. You, my friends, have to understand what that means for you. It means you don't have to lift a finger to make them pay. It means the work is already being done, not by you, but by the laws of human conscience. You've become a truth they can't rewrite, and that truth is sharper than any weapon you could forge. Now here's where it gets interesting. The mirror effect works both ways, and for you, it's a source of strength. When they see you and turn away, it's easy to feel like they have power, like their avoidance is a form of control. But if you shift your perspective, you'll realize it's proof of your transformation. You've gone from being someone they thought they could handle to someone whose very existence dismantles their lies. That's not weakness, that's winning in silence. Some of you might be thinking, but shouldn't I just confront them and get it over with? No, my friends, that's exactly what they want. A scene, an outburst, something they can twist to paint you as unstable. The mirror effect is so devastating precisely because it leaves them nothing to grab onto. You are not giving them the chaos they need to feel justified. You're giving them calm. And calm is the loudest sound in the room when someone's conscience is screaming. So hold on to this truth. They are not avoiding you because you've done something wrong. They are avoiding you because you've done something right. You've stayed true to yourself. You've grown, you've healed, and you've done it without stepping into the mud they live in. That's why the mirror effect will always tilt in your favor. Write this in the comments so it sinks into your bones. I am the mirror of truth. Show them, show yourself, show the world around you that your strength doesn't come from revenge, but from becoming a reflection no one can distort. And stay with me, because next, we're going to break apart the difference between guilt and shame, and why shame is the chain they can't cut loose, no matter how far they run. Number 3, guilt versus shame. Guilt says, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am the mistake. And that, my friends, is why one fades, and the other follows you like a shadow that never blinks. This is where the real difference lies, and understanding it will change how you see their silence forever. Most people toss the words guilt and shame around like they mean the same thing, but they are worlds apart. One can be cleaned up with courage. The other digs its claws into the very identity of a person and refuses to let go. And that, my friends, is why they can't face you anymore. Let's start with guilt. Guilt is about an action. It's when you know you did something wrong. You broke a rule, you hurt someone, you crossed a line. But here's the thing about guilt. It can be fixed. Guilt is like a bruise. It's sore at first, it changes color, but if you take care of it, it heals. You can apologize, you can make it right, You can change your behavior, and once that's done, guilt loses its grip. Now imagine shame. Shame is a whole different animal. Shame doesn't just look at the action. Shame points its finger at the core of who you are and says, "You're broken, you're bad, there's something wrong with you." Guilt says, "I made a mistake." Shame says, "I am the mistake." That's why shame burns deeper and longer, because you can't just undo it by fixing the act. You'd have to fix the person you were when you did it. And most people, my friends, don't have the courage to do that. Let me give you a simple metaphor. Imagine you spill coffee on your shirt. That's guilt. You can grab a towel, clean it up, maybe change shirts, and it's over. But shame is like having a stain under your skin. You can't scrub it out. You can't cover it with a new shirt. No matter what you wear, no matter where you go, you know it's still there. And every time someone looks at you, you wonder if they can see it too. That's why they avoid you. You are the person who can see their stain without them having to say a word. When they see you, they don't just remember the event. They remember who they were when they did it. And deep down, that scares them. Because it's not just a bad memory, it's evidence of a side of themselves they don't want to admit exists. It's one thing to make a mistake in the moment. It's another thing entirely to realize the mistake revealed something about your character you wish weren't true. Here's where the avoidance comes in. Facing guilt requires admitting you did something wrong. Facing shame requires admitting that in that moment you were not the person you wanted to believe you were. That's not a bruise. That's a mirror reflecting a version of yourself you can't stand. And it's human nature to turn away from a mirror that shows you something ugly. Some of you might ask, why can't they just fix it? The truth is, they could, but they'd have to confront themselves first. And most people will do almost anything to avoid that. They'll distract themselves with new relationships, bury themselves in work, fill their days with noise, surround themselves with people who never bring up the past. They'll even rewrite history in their minds, telling themselves it wasn't that bad or that you deserved it. But here's the flaw in their plan. Shame doesn't dissolve when you cover it up. It festers, it grows, it waits. And all it takes is one encounter with you for it to come roaring back. Think about this. If they carried only guilt, they could face you. They could look you in the eye, maybe even apologize. They could admit the wrong and move on. But with shame, eye contact becomes dangerous. Because looking at you means opening the door to the truth they've spent all this time boarding up. And deep down, they're terrified that if that door opens even a crack, everything they've been hiding will come spilling out. Here's another way to see it. Guilt is like an unpaid bill. You deal with it, you pay it off, and it's done. Shame is like a debt you can't calculate, with interest that compounds every time you avoid it. Every time they dodge you, every time they look away, every time they pretend not to see you in public, the weight gets heavier. They think they're escaping, but they're actually adding bricks to their own prison wall. And my friends, that prison, it's not one you put them in. They built it themselves, brick by brick, the day they decided not to own what they did. You didn't close the door. They did. And they keep locking it from the inside every time they choose pride over humility. So when you see them avoid you, don't misinterpret it as strength. It's not strength to dodge the truth. It's not power to run from reality. Avoidance is surrender. Surrender to the fear that they can't survive facing themselves. And that is why shame is more punishing than any revenge you could ever dream of. Because revenge is something they could fight back against. Shame is an enemy inside their own skin. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If a wrong can be corrected, correct it. If it cannot, then let it teach you." That's wisdom most people don't follow. Instead of letting their mistake teach them, they let it trap them. They hold on to the shame until it shapes how they walk through the world. And the sad truth is, the longer they hold it, the harder it becomes to put it down. This is your advantage. You've already faced your pain. You've already done the hard work of healing. You've looked at yourself, learned, grown, and moved forward. They haven't. They're still standing at the scene of the crime in their mind, unable to leave because they can't admit what they see in the mirror. That's why you can walk freely, and they can't. That's why you can smile without flinching while they can't even hold your gaze. So the next time they turn away, remember this. They're not afraid of you. They're afraid of the version of themselves you represent in their memory. You are living proof of their lowest moment, the witness they can't silence, the evidence they can't erase. And that, my friends, is why their shame will always weigh more than your peace. Write this in the comments so it becomes your armor. Their shame is not my burden. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that your freedom came from facing yourself, and that's why they'll keep running. And stay with me, because next we're going to step into the real-life moments where shame explodes, those snapshots where their body gives them away before they can even speak. Number 4. Real-life snapshots. The truth has a funny way of showing up in the body before it ever reaches the lips. My friends, shame is a master of disguise, until the moment it runs into the one person it can't hide from, you. And when that happens, it doesn't always speak in words. It doesn't need to. The body betrays what the mouth refuses to say. That's where the real-life snapshots come in, those split seconds when their guilt and shame leak out in real time, no matter how hard they try to hold them back. Let's paint the picture. You're walking into your favorite coffee shop, the one you've been going to for years. It's your place. You know the barista by name. You're humming a tune in your head, thinking about nothing more than your morning drink. And there, in the corner, they're sitting. The person who once looked you in the eye and broke a promise they swore they'd keep. They see you. The cup in their hand suddenly becomes the most interesting object in the world. They take a long sip. Too long. Their eyes drop. They fumble for their phone, pretending to check something urgent. Then, like clockwork, they remember somewhere else they need to be and leave their drink half-finished on the table. To the rest of the world, it's just someone leaving a coffee shop. To you, it's a confession. They couldn't sit in the same room as you for longer than a few seconds. Not because you confronted them, not because you even looked at them for more than a heartbeat, but because your presence turned up the volume on their conscience, and it was deafening. Or picture this. You're at a mutual friend's birthday party. You didn't even know they'd be there. You're laughing, telling a story to the group, your energy light and easy. Then out of the corner of your eye, you catch it. They've walked in. Their face shifts the moment they spot you. Maybe it's just a flicker, a tightening around the mouth, a flash of discomfort in the eyes. They keep their head high for a moment, scanning the room for an escape route. Then they drift to the far side of the room, glued to a conversation they clearly weren't having a minute ago. They avoid your eyes the entire night, and when you laugh too loudly, you see their shoulders tense. Here's the thing, my friends. These moments are small, but they are loud in their own way. You can't fake ease in the presence of someone who knows the truth about you. You can't fake comfort when your own actions have burned that bridge. The body knows when it's in the presence of danger, and for them, danger isn't you hurting them. Danger is you seeing them, really seeing them. Let's go deeper. Maybe it's not even public. Maybe you're at the grocery store, walking down the aisle, and you turn a corner to see them right there, picking up a carton of milk. The second their eyes land on you, they put the milk back and head the other way. No words exchanged, no nod, no hello, just a quiet, awkward retreat. And you stand there thinking, that's strange, but also not strange at all. Why? Because, my friends, these aren't coincidences. They are physical expressions of an emotional truth they've been choking down for months, maybe years. Avoidance is an instinct when the heart is carrying shame. The mind might still be spinning excuses, telling them you were too sensitive or that things just didn't work out, but the body remembers. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When someone's thoughts are soaked in denial, shame, and regret, that dye seeps into everything. Their tone of voice, their posture, their eye contact, or lack of it. You've probably seen it before without even realizing. The way their smile looks tight when they pass you, the way their laugh rings hollow if you're within earshot. Here's a truth bomb. These snapshots are not signs of your weakness. They are proof of your strength. Because think about it. If you were still broken, still clinging to the past, they'd feel in control. They might even seek you out, just to feed off your reaction. But when you're standing tall, minding your own business, fully at ease in yourself, that's when they crumble. Not because of what you're doing, but because of what you're not doing. You're not chasing, not confronting, not performing the role they once expected you to play. And the irony? Every time they react this way, they give themselves away. Their body language screams, "I'm not over it." Their quick exits and fake distractions say more than any apology ever could. They think they're protecting themselves from discomfort, but really, they're broadcasting their truth in high definition, to you and to anyone else paying attention. Now here's the part that stings for them the most. These moments can happen years later. A decade could pass. You could have built an entirely new life, one that doesn't even include their name in your daily thoughts. And still, if you run into them, their body will react before their brain has time to craft a story. Because shame, unlike guilt, doesn't expire. It lives in the nervous system, waiting for a trigger. And you, my friends, are the ultimate trigger. But let me flip this for you. Instead of seeing these moments as awkward or uncomfortable for you, see them for what they are. Proof. Proof that you've grown into someone whose very existence holds others accountable without saying a single word. Proof that the narrative they spun to protect their ego shatters every time you walk into the room. Proof that while you've been busy building, they've been busy hiding. So don't mistake their quick exit for a victory on their part. That's not them winning, that's them retreating. And retreat, in this context, is not strength, it's surrender. It's saying, "I don't have the courage to stand in this light." Here's what I want you to remember the next time you find yourself in one of these snapshots. You don't need to react. You don't need to match their energy. You don't need to force a conversation or prove anything. The mirror effect we talked about before, this is it in action. The less you do, the louder it gets for them. So keep your composure, keep your smile, keep walking with the same calm that got you this far. Let their body language tell you everything you need to know, and most importantly, let it remind you that their avoidance is not about your worth. It's about their fear of facing themselves. Write this in the comments so it becomes part of your mindset. Their reaction is my proof. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that the quiet power of being unshaken speaks louder than anything they could ever say. And stay with me, because next we're going to pull back the curtain on how your calm dismantles the entire story they've been telling themselves since the day they wronged you. Number 5. How your calm dismantles their narrative. Sometimes the loudest thing in the room is the person who says nothing at all. My friends, this is the part they never saw coming. When they wronged you, they didn't just act. They built a whole story around that act. A justification. A narrative designed to make them the hero, or at least to make you the villain. And they thought the script was airtight. They thought they knew exactly how you'd respond. They counted on it. They rehearsed for it. But here's what they didn't plan for. Your calm. You see, in their mind, the scene would play out like this. They hurt you. You explode. You yell. You send long emotional messages, you demand answers, you make a scene. and every bit of that reaction would feed their storyline. See, this is why I left. This is why I did what I did. They're unstable. They're dramatic. They're too much. It's a classic psychological trap. Create chaos, then use your reaction as proof you were the problem all along. But when you don't give them that reaction, when you stay calm, when you step back without theatrics and keep building your life, that's when the whole structure starts to crumble, because without your cooperation, their narrative has nothing to hold it up. Imagine a play on stage. The lights come up, the actors are ready, the audience is waiting. But one of the main characters doesn't show. The actors fumble through their lines, the pacing feels off, the story makes no sense. That's what your calm does. It leaves their performance without the scene they were counting on. And here's the beautiful thing. Your calm doesn't just confuse them, it unsettles them. Because when you refuse to react, you refuse to give them control over the story. They don't get to decide who you are in the eyes of others anymore. They don't get to twist your pain into their alibi, your silence, your composure, your refusal to play the part they assigned you. That's how you take the pen out of their hands. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's exactly what you've done. You've revoked their power to define how you respond, and for someone who thrives on control, that's devastating. Let's break down why this calm hits them so hard. First, it forces them to confront the possibility that they were wrong about you. That maybe you weren't as weak, needy, or dependent as they told themselves. Second, it makes them question their own importance. If you're not chasing them, not confronting them, not even acknowledging them publicly, what does that say? It says they're no longer the center of your world. And for someone with an ego built on being in control of the narrative, that's a nightmare. Picture this. They run into you months later. They expect awkwardness, maybe bitterness. Instead, you're smiling, maybe even laughing with friends. You greet people warmly. You carry yourself with the kind of peace that can't be faked. You're not looking over your shoulder. You're not trying to prove anything. And that moment is a wrecking ball to the story they've been living in. Because here's the lie they've been holding on to. Without me, they'll fall apart. And here's the truth your calm delivers. Without you, I rose higher. That's why your composure is so dangerous to them. It's not passive. It's not weak, it's active self-mastery. You've chosen not to waste your energy on revenge, not to waste your breath on explanations to people committed to misunderstanding you. You've chosen to put that energy into building yourself, your life, your peace, your worth. And every time they see you, they see the result of that choice. Now let's address something important. Staying calm doesn't mean you didn't feel the hurt. It doesn't mean you weren't angry or betrayed. It means you didn't let those emotions control your behavior in a way that would feed their lies. You took the sting, you processed it, and you moved forward without turning yourself into the villain in their version of events. Think of it like a tug of war. They pulled, expecting you to pull back, but instead, you dropped the rope. The game ended instantly. And now they're standing there with a handful of rope and no one to play with, realizing they can't drag you into the mud without your consent. And the longer you stay calm, the more the cracks in their story start to show, not just to them, but to everyone else. People begin to notice the contrast. They see you moving forward with dignity while the other person is still spinning, still making excuses, still talking about the past. And little by little, the audience stops believing their version. Here's the part they'll never admit. Your calm exposes their chaos. Your stability highlights their instability. Your peace puts their unrest in sharp relief. It's like standing next to a still lake after being on a storm-tossed sea. You suddenly realize just how violent the waves were. That's why they avoid you. Not because you're dangerous, not because you're plotting revenge, but because your very presence threatens to dismantle the fragile scaffolding they've been living on since the day they wronged you. And here's what I want you to hold on to. You don't have to explain your calm to anyone. You don't have to justify it. You don't have to convince them you've moved on. Calm is its own language, and it's one they understand perfectly. They might not acknowledge it out loud, but they feel it in their gut every time they see you and realize they have no power to shake you anymore. So, my friends, the next time they try to provoke you, directly or indirectly, remember this: every second you remain unshaken is another brick falling out of their narrative. Every deep breath you take instead of lashing out is another thread unraveling in the story they told about you. You're not just protecting your peace, you're rewriting the ending without even touching the pen. Write this in the comments so it becomes a promise to yourself. My calm is my power. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world that you don't need noise to make an impact. And stay with me, because next, we're going to step into the quiet weapons that make this calm possible, the boundaries and self-worth that turn you into someone they can't reach, no matter how hard they try. Number 6, boundaries and self-worth as invisible armor. A fortress doesn't announce itself. It simply stands, unshaken, while the uninvited circle its walls. My friends, if your calm is the thing that dismantles their story, then your boundaries and self-worth are the walls that keep you untouchable. They can see you, but they can't get to you. They can speak your name, but they can't stir your peace. They can try to step back into your life, but their footsteps stop cold at a gate they no longer have the key for. Here's the thing about boundaries. They're not loud. They're not dramatic. They don't need flashing lights or warning sirens. Real boundaries are invisible armor. They exist in your decisions, in the quiet no you don't feel the need to explain, in the way you no longer respond to bait, in the way you protect your time, your mind, your energy like priceless currency. Imagine a medieval castle. You've spent years rebuilding it stone by stone after someone set fire to it. They thought the flames would leave you in ruins forever, but now the walls are higher, the gates stronger, the watchtowers taller. You've planted gardens inside those walls. There's music in the courtyard. Life is thriving again. But here's the difference. Not everyone gets to walk through the gates anymore. That's what self-worth teaches you. Access to you is earned, not given away freely. When you didn't have boundaries, they could stroll right in. They could say the right words, play on your emotions, or use history as a ticket to bypass your defenses. And back then, maybe you didn't see the danger. Maybe you thought keeping the gates open made you loving, forgiving, strong. But experience taught you something priceless. An open gate doesn't just let in friends, it lets in thieves. So now, the locks are in place, the moat is filled, and here's the part they can't stand. They know they don't have the bridge anymore. That bridge was burned by their own actions, and you've rebuilt it for people who actually deserve to cross. This is where self-worth comes in. Self-worth is the foundation of every boundary. When you know your value, you stop negotiating it. You stop accepting crumbs and calling it a feast. You stop letting people convince you that their inability to treat you well is somehow your fault. You stop making space for repeat offenders just because they mean well or had a bad day. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the essence of self-worth. It's knowing you are not at the mercy of someone else's treatment, approval, or recognition. You carry your value with you, and because of that, you no longer feel pressured to keep your gates open to those who've already proven they can't be trusted inside. Now, let's talk about why this makes them avoid you even more. In the past, when they crossed your boundaries, they got away with it. You might have confronted them, but you let them back in. You might have been angry, but eventually you gave them another chance. They had influence, access, control. But now, every attempt they make bounces off the walls. The guilt trips don't land. The false apologies don't move you. The sweet words that used to work fall flat. And nothing terrifies someone more than realizing the buttons they used to push don't work anymore. Picture this. They send a casual message like nothing happened. Old you might have replied, might have asked why they were reaching out, might have given them the opportunity to explain themselves. New you? You glance at it, and either you don't reply at all, or you respond politely without opening any doors. You don't give them an opening for the same cycle to start again. And in that moment, whether they admit it or not, they feel it. The access is gone. Boundaries don't just protect you, they expose them. They shine a light on the fact that the connection they thought they could reignite at will is gone for good. And for someone still carrying shame, that's unbearable, because your boundaries are living proof that you've learned from the past, that you won't let history repeat itself. And let's be clear, boundaries are not punishment, they're protection. They're not about locking people out of your life forever. They're about deciding who gets to enter and under what conditions. They're about saying, I choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, dignity over drama. Self-worth is what allows you to enforce those boundaries without guilt. You stop asking yourself, am I being too harsh? Am I overreacting? Instead, you start asking, does this align with the value I place on myself? And if the answer is no, the door stays closed. When you live like this, something interesting happens. You don't have to push people away. The ones who can't meet your standards push themselves away. They feel the difference in you. They sense the distance. And instead of facing the truth about why they no longer have access, they avoid you altogether. Because seeing you now would be a reminder that the old dynamic is dead. Think of your boundaries and self-worth as an aura. It's invisible, but it's felt the moment you walk into a room. The people who respect it feel safe around you because they know exactly where they stand. The people who've abused it feel uncomfortable because they know they no longer have the power to cross lines without consequence. That's why your very presence can make someone restless enough to leave early. The aura tells them, don't try it. You won't get far. And here's the most powerful part. Your boundaries make your self-worth visible to the world. You're no longer saying, I know my value, while tolerating what diminishes it. You're showing it. You're living it. You're embodying it in every choice you make, every door you close, and every path you walk away from. So the next time they try to circle back, remember this. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them another chance to prove they've changed. You don't owe them the comfort of pretending the past didn't happen. Your boundaries are not there to hurt them. They're there to protect the life you've built since they left. Write this in the comments as a declaration of who you are now. My boundaries are my armor. Show them, show yourself. Show the world that your self-worth isn't negotiable, and that's why you no longer fear losing people who were never meant to stay. And stay with me, because next, we're going to step into the Stoic wisdom that explains exactly why shame is the natural punishment for those who run from truth. Number 7. The Stoic lens on shame. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. My friends, Stoicism isn't about sitting on a mountaintop with no feelings. It's about self-mastery. It's about knowing where your power begins and ends, and letting go of the things that were never in your control in the first place. And when it comes to shame, that wisdom is crystal clear. You cannot carry someone else's conscience for them. You cannot heal the part of them that refuses to be looked at. From a Stoic point of view, shame is not something you give them. It's something they give themselves the moment they betray their own principles. It is the natural consequence of their actions, just as fire burns and water flows. No lecture from you, no clever revenge plan, no public exposure will ever do the work as effectively as their own mind, replaying that moment in the quiet hours of the night. Epictetus said, "If someone can provoke you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." The Stoic answer? Remove your mind from the equation. They cannot provoke what you refuse to let react. You've done that. You've taken away the one tool they counted on to keep you locked in the same cycle, your emotional availability to their chaos. And that in itself is why shame becomes their silent punishment. Think about it. The day they wronged you, they planted two seeds, one in your life, one in theirs. The seed in your life could have grown into bitterness, resentment, revenge. But you chose differently. You tended to yourself. You pulled the weeds, watered the soil, planted better things, growth, peace, strength. And now, that garden is flourishing. The seed in their life was different. It was dishonor, disloyalty, cowardice. They buried it deep, hoping it would disappear. But seeds don't disappear, they grow. And now, years later, they live in the shadow of what's sprouted, a creeping vine of shame that winds through every corner of their conscience. They can try to hide it from others, but they can't hide it from themselves. The Stoic understands, you are not the gardener of their soul. That's their work. And if they refuse to do it, the weeds will keep growing until they can't walk anywhere without tripping over them. Here's the real power in this mindset. Once you see shame for what it is, you stop chasing repayment. You stop looking for the right moment to get your closure. You stop waiting for them to admit the truth, because you know the truth is already living rent-free in their chest. You know their own mind has become the judge, the jury, and the executioner. And here's the irony. They might think that avoiding you is saving them from discomfort, but it's actually keeping the shame alive. Every time they walk away from you instead of facing you, they reinforce the belief that you're too much truth for them to handle. And that belief, my friends, is a weight they'll carry into every future relationship, every new friendship, every moment they get too close to being exposed. Picture it like this. You're a lighthouse. You don't chase ships. You don't shout across the water. You just shine. And for ships that are sailing straight and true, your light is a guide. But for the ship that knows it's off course, your light is a reminder of just how far they've drifted. They can turn their bow away, but that doesn't change where they are. It only confirms that they can't face the direction home. The Stoic way is not to dim your light to make them comfortable. It's to keep shining in your truth, knowing that anyone who can't handle it is simply not ready to stand in it. You do not lower your standards to make shame disappear for someone else. You live in a way that keeps your own conscience clear, your own values intact, your own integrity untouchable. Marcus Aurelius also said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's your role now, not to prove they're wrong, not to play their judge, but to be living proof that integrity survives betrayal. And here's the part that will make you smile if you really let it sink in. Every time they avoid you, every time they glance away, every time they slip out of a room early, it's confirmation. Confirmation that your way worked, that you didn't need to break them to win, that their own actions have been carrying the weight for you all this time. You are free. They are not. The Stoic understands that this is the truest form of justice, not the public spectacle, but the private reckoning, not the courtroom with witnesses, but the quiet room where they can't escape the mirror. So you keep walking forward, you keep building, you keep planting better seeds, because here's the thing about shame, it's their chain, not yours. And you, my friends, have already set yourself free. Your job is not to wait for them to unlock their cage. Your job is to make your life so rich, so full of self-worth, inner peace and purpose, that their absence becomes irrelevant. You stop checking the door to see if they've come to apologize. You stop rehearsing the speech you'd give if they did. You stop measuring your healing by whether or not they've owned up. You heal because it's the best thing you can do for you. And one day, if life puts you in the same room again, you'll feel it. Not the sting of the past, but the solid ground beneath your feet. You'll know that no matter how they react, you've already won. Not because they lost, but because you refused to live with the same chains they chose to keep. That, my friends, is the Stoic lens on shame. You didn't put them in that prison. They built it. You didn't lock the door. They did. And while they're pacing behind bars made of regret and pride, you're out in the sunlight, building a life they'll never have until they face themselves. So here's what I want you to do. Write this in the comments as your final affirmation from this video. Their shame is their sentence. My peace is my proof. Let it be your reminder that you don't need revenge to close the chapter. If this message hit you in the heart, if it shifted the way you see their silence, press the like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they can rise without chasing apologies. And subscribe so you never miss the next Stoic truth we uncover together. Your journey isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started.